The harsh overhead lights of Oakhaven Academy cast a sickly yellow glow on the jam-packed corridors as 16-year-old Finnegan Finn O'Malley tried to squeeze through the mob of kids. Standing at a mere 5 feet 5 inches, with a slight frame and large round glasses constantly sliding down his nose, Finn had mastered blending into the background during his first few weeks at this school. His messy blonde hair was always falling into his eyes, and his clothes, functional but far from trendy, marked him as easy pickings in the dog-eat-dog world of high school cliques. Leaving quiet Maple Creek after his mom got a new job was supposed to be a good thing, but for Finn, it felt more like being thrown to the wolves. He kept quiet, answered only when asked, and had managed to stay under the radar until today. "Well, look what the cat dragged in," a booming voice said, sending a shiver down Finn's spine. Dylan "Digger" MacArthur, the school's star linebacker, planted himself right in Finn's way. At 6 feet 3 inches, with shoulders like a refrigerator and the kind of swagger that came from always getting his way, Digger was the king of the jungle. His two sidekicks were always close by. Butch Kowalski, a burly hockey player with a face full of scars and a mean sneer, and Rocco Mancini, skinny and wiry with cold eyes that seemed to enjoy watching people suffer. Finn tried to slip around them, but Digger moved to cut him off. "Hold on there, bookworm. We're just being neighborly." His smile was all teeth and no kindness. "You've been at Oakhaven for what, a month now? And you haven't even introduced yourself properly, eh?" "I'm just trying to get to class," Finn mumbled, pushing his glasses up his nose with shaky fingers. He could see other students stopping nearby, eager to watch someone else's misery. "Oh, he speaks," Butch cackled, his voice rough and grating. "We thought you were a dummy or something, besides being a shrimp." He knocked Finn's glasses off his face. Finn put his glasses back on, his jaw clenching almost without him realizing it. What they didn't know, what nobody at Oakhaven Academy knew, was that Finn O'Malley had spent the last 7 years studying Taekwondo under Master Lee, one of the most famous instructors in Maple Creek. He'd started training at age 10 after some older kids roughed him up pretty bad, and his quick reflexes and strong will had made him a force to be reckoned with in ways that his shy personality completely hid. But Master Lee's words rang in his ears. "Real strength is knowing when not to use your power. A true warrior tries to avoid a fight, not start one." And his mom's words, "This is a fresh start, Finn. Leave the past behind." So Finn put up with it. Every shove in the hall, every accidental bump that made him drop his stuff, every snide comment about his clothes, he dealt with it all using the breathing exercises and self-control his training had taught him. "Look at him just standing there," Rocco snickered, moving closer. "I bet he's never thrown a punch in his life. Probably runs home crying to his mommy every day." The first bell rang, giving Finn the chance he needed to get past them and rush toward his history class. He could hear their laughter behind him, but he forced himself to keep walking at a normal pace, not giving them the satisfaction of seeing him run. In class, Finn sat in his usual spot in the 3rd row, far enough back to not draw attention, but close enough to pay attention. He took out his notebook and tried to listen to Mr. Davies talk about the Civil War, but his mind kept going back to what happened that morning. He could feel the heat of embarrassment in his face, the same feeling that had made him start martial arts in the first place. The same thing happened all week. Digger and his crew seemed to have made it their goal to make Finn's life miserable. In the lunchroom, they would accidentally knock into him while he was carrying his tray, sending his food flying everywhere while everyone around them laughed. During gym, Finn was their favorite target in dodgeball, the rubber balls flying at him hard and fast. The worst was when they trapped him by his locker after school on Friday. Most of the kids had already left, and the hallway was empty. "Hey, Finn," Digger called out, his voice echoing off the lockers. "We've been thinking about you all week. You look sad, man, like you need some buddies." Finn kept putting his books in his locker, moving slowly and carefully. "I'm okay, thanks." See, that's what I mean, Butch said, stepping closer. You're too nice, too weak. This is America, pal. You gotta toughen up if you want to make it. Yeah, Rocco added, his voice mocking. Maybe we should help you out. Give you some lessons in character. Before Finn could do anything, strong hands grabbed his arms from behind. Two seniors he knew from the football team showed up out of nowhere like they were in on it. They held his arms while Digger stepped forward, grinning. Here's lesson 1 in toughening up, Digger said, winding up his fist. Life's gonna knock you down when you least expect it. The punch landed in Finn's gut, making him double over as much as he could with his arms pinned. Pain shot through him, but what hurt more was how planned out it was. This wasn't just random bullying, this was a show. Lesson 2, Butch said, taking his turn to punch Finn in the ribs. Nobody's gonna save you. You gotta save yourself, or you're done for. Finn kept his breathing steady, even though it hurt. Master Lee had taught him to take hits, to breathe through pain, to stay calm, even when getting attacked. But more important, he was watching his attackers. How they were standing, how balanced they were, how little they knew about real fighting. He could take any one of them down in seconds, with moves he'd practiced for years. But his grandma's words joined Master Lee's in his head. Fighting only leads to more fighting, honey. Be better than those who want to hurt you. So Finn took it. When they finally let him go, laughing and slapping each other on the back, he stayed bent over by his locker, not because of the pain, but because of how hard it was to hold back. His hands shook, not with fear, but with the effort of not showing them how wrong they were about what he could do. That weekend, Finn spent hours in his garage, practicing his forms on the punching bag his mom had helped him set up. Every kick was perfect, every block was precise, every strike was deadly. His forms were beautiful, his technique sharp enough to make Master Lee proud. But with every move, he told himself why he couldn't use these skills at school. Monday was even worse. Word had spread about what happened on Friday, and Finn found himself being picked on not just by Digger's group, but by random kids trying to prove themselves by going after the easy target. His books were knocked out of his hands at least 5 times that day. Someone stuck gum in his hair in 3rd period. In the lunchroom, some girls were talking loud enough for him to hear how pathetic he was. But it was Tuesday that changed everything. Finn was in the bathroom during lunch, splashing water on his face and trying to get himself ready for the rest of the day, when the door flew open. Digger, Butch and Rocco came in, along with 2 other football players Finn didn't know. Digger's eyes looked different today, colder, meaner. "Well, look who we found," Digger said, his voice echoing off the tiled walls. "Having a little cry in private, Finn?" "I wasn't crying," Finn said softly, turning to face them. The bathroom suddenly felt small, with 5 big guys blocking the door. "Sure looked like it from here," Butch sneered. "Maybe we should give you something to really cry about." Before Finn could say anything, they grabbed him again. But this time, they dragged him toward the stalls at the end of the bathroom, and he knew what they were going to do as they forced him to his knees in front of the last toilet. "Welcome to Oakhaven Academy, loser," Digger laughed, pushing down on Finn's head. "Time for your official dip." The cold, gross toilet water hit Finn's face like a slap. They held him there, his forehead against the toilet bowl, water filling his nose and mouth while they laughed. He had never been so humiliated in his life, but as they pulled his head back up, water running down his face and soaking his shirt, something inside Finn O'Malley snapped. 7 years of training, 7 years of Master Lee telling him to stay calm and in control, 7 years of being told that real strength meant not fighting. It all turned into one clear, burning moment. Sometimes you had to fight back. "Next time, maybe you'll remember to show some respect," Digger was saying, pushing Finn toward the sinks. "This is what happens to weirdos who don't know their place." Finn stood up slowly, water dripping from his hair, his glasses crooked. He looked at himself in the dirty mirror, really looked, and saw not a loser, but a fighter who had been pretending to be weak for too long. He turned to face them, and something in the way he stood made Butch take a step back. "What's wrong with you?" Digger demanded, seeing the change too. "You look different, like you finally grew a pair or something." "Maybe I did," Finn said softly, taking off his glasses and setting them on the sink. Without them, his eyes looked harder, more focused. "Maybe I'm done pretending." The 5 boys looked at each other. Rocco laughed nervously. "What's that supposed to mean? You gonna fight all 5 of us, 4 Eyes?" Finn didn't answer. Instead, he moved into a fighting stance that felt like second nature. Feet shoulder-width apart, balanced, hands relaxed but ready. Years of training had made it as easy as breathing. "I'm gonna give you one chance," Finn said, his voice quiet but strong enough to make the bathroom quiet. "Walk away now, and we'll forget this ever happened." Digger's face turned red. "Are you threatening us? You little twerp, I'll—" He charged forward with a wild swing, the kind of clumsy punch that Finn had been trained to block since he was 10. Everything slowed down as Finn's body reacted, guided by years of practice. A simple block with his left arm sent Digger's punch wide, and Finn's right fist shot forward in a perfect strike, hitting Digger in the stomach with pinpoint accuracy. Digger's eyes went wide as he gasped for air. He doubled over, trying to breathe. The other 4 stood still for a second. Then Butch roared and charged, and Rocco and the 2 football players followed. What happened next was like a lesson in martial arts. Butch threw a punch that Finn ducked under, coming up with a strike that snapped the hockey player's head back and sent him stumbling into the wall. Rocco tried to grab Finn from behind, but a quick elbow to his ribs and a sweep of his foot sent him crashing to the floor. The first football player, a big guy who outweighed Finn by a lot, tried to grab Finn in a bear hug. Finn tucked his chin, grabbed the boy's arms, and did a perfect throw that sent the bigger boy flying over his head to crash into the sinks. The last guy looked around at his friends on the floor, then ran for the door. Finn stood in the middle of the bathroom, breathing evenly, surrounded by 4 beaten bullies. Digger was still gasping for air, his face red. Butch was sliding down the wall looking lost. Rocco was curled up in a ball, holding his ribs. The football player was leaning against the broken sinks, looking confused. 7 years, Finn said quietly, more to himself than to them. 7 years of Taekwondo. Master Lee always said that real strength was knowing when not to fight. He walked over to get his glasses, putting them back on with steady hands. But he also taught me that sometimes not fighting is just being weak. He looked down at Digger, who was starting to breathe again. "You wanted to teach me about toughening up, about how life knocks you down when you least expect it. Well, here's a lesson for you. Don't start fights with people when you don't know what they can do." The bathroom door opened, and Mrs. Evans, the school nurse, walked in. She looked at the scene. 4 students hurt, one standing calmly in the middle, and her eyes went wide. What in the world happened here? Word spread through Oakhaven Academy like crazy. By the end of the day, everyone knew that Finn O'Malley, quiet, nerdy Finn O'Malley, had beaten up 4 of the school's biggest bullies in the bathroom. The story got bigger as it was told, but the main points were the same. The kid nobody noticed was a martial arts expert. The meeting with the principal was the next morning. Mr. Thompson sat behind his desk, looking serious as he read the statements. Finn sat quietly, his hands in his lap, while his mom stood next to him, looking worried but also proud. "Mr. O'Malley," Mr. Thompson said, "while I understand you were defending yourself, fighting on school property is a serious thing, no matter what." "I understand, sir," Finn said calmly. "However," the principal went on, "the students who saw what happened tell a clear story of bullying and harassment leading up to this. The bathroom thing especially was completely out of line and just plain wrong." He looked at the 4 boys sitting across from him, all bruised up and not looking so tough anymore. "Mr. MacArthur, Mr. Kowalski, Mr. Mancini, and Mr. Johnson, you're suspended for 2 weeks. When you come back, you'll be on probation for the rest of the year. One more thing like this and you're out." He spoke sternly. What you did in that bathroom wasn't just bullying, it was assault. You should be glad Mr. O'Malley's mom isn't pressing charges." He turned back to Finn. "As for you, Mr. O'Malley, 1 day of in-school suspension for fighting, no matter the reason. But I want you to know that some students have told me about how you've been picked on since you got here. That's our fault as much as theirs, and it stops now." Things changed for Finn right away. Students who used to ignore him now nodded to him in the halls. The whispers that followed him weren't mean anymore, but impressed. Teachers looked at him differently, and some even asked if he'd want to start a martial arts club. Most important, the bullying stopped. Not just from Digger and his group, who stayed far away from Finn when they came back from suspension, but from everyone. People knew what happened if you pushed the quiet kid too far. But Finn didn't feel as good about it as he thought he would. He was glad he stood up for himself, that he showed them he wasn't weak. But he was also sad that it had to come to fighting. 2 weeks after the bathroom incident, a girl named Emily Carter came up to Finn. She was small, with big blue eyes behind glasses like his, and she was being picked on by some mean girls. "I heard what you did," she said quietly, walking next to him after school. "With Digger and those guys." Finn nodded, not sure what to say. "I was wondering," Emily went on, "if maybe you could teach me. Some of what you know, I mean. I don't want to hurt anyone, but I'm tired of being scared all the time." Finn stopped and looked at her. Really looked. He saw himself a few months ago, scared and alone, putting up with being bullied because he didn't know what else to do. But he also saw a chance to use what Master Lee had taught him in a new way. "It's not about fighting," he said. "Most of the time, just knowing you can protect yourself changes how you act. People can sense confidence, even if it's quiet." Emily nodded eagerly. "I get it. I just don't want to feel helpless anymore." "Okay," Finn said. "But we do this right. It's not about getting revenge or hurting people who hurt you. It's about protecting yourself and others who can't protect themselves." Within a month, Finn had started a self-defense group that met in the gym after school. Mr. Thompson not only approved it, but made it an official school club after seeing how it was helping kids who had been bullied. The group grew fast, with not just victims, but students who were interested in martial arts. Master Lee came to visit from Maple Creek for Finn's 16th birthday, and his mom helped him show Master Lee what he had built at Oakhaven Academy. After watching a practice, the old master came up to his former student with something like pride on his face. "You have learned the most important thing," Master Lee said. "Strength shared becomes greater strength. This is true mastery." 3 months later, Digger MacArthur came up to Finn after one of the self-defense practices. The former football star had been keeping a low profile since his suspension, and he wasn't as popular as he used to be after everyone found out he got beat up. "Can I talk to you?" Digger asked, not as cocky as he used to be. Finn nodded, telling everyone else to go and waiting until they were alone in the gym. "I've been thinking about what happened," Digger said, looking at the floor. "About why I did what I did to you." Finn waited, not saying anything. "My dad," Digger went on, his voice thick with feelings he was trying to hold back. "He's always been tough on me. Nothing I do is ever good enough. When I got to high school and everyone looked up to me because of football, it felt good to have that power, to make other people feel small the way my dad makes me feel small." He looked up at Finn, his eyes shiny with tears. "That doesn't make what I did okay, I know that, but I wanted you to know that it wasn't really about you. It was about me feeling weak and taking it out on someone I thought was weaker." Finn looked at the boy who had made his life miserable for months, seeing him clearly for the first time. "What are you going to do about it?" he asked. "I don't know," Digger admitted. "I've been seeing the school counselor. She says I need to find better ways to deal with my anger." Finn was quiet for a moment, then made a choice that surprised them both. "There's room in the group if you want to join. Not as a leader, You'd start at the bottom like everyone else. But if you really want to change, to find better ways to deal with what you're feeling, the training might help. Digger's eyes went wide. You'd let me join, after everything I did to you. Master Lee taught me that everyone deserves a chance to be better, Finn said. But this is your only chance. You hurt someone in my group, you disrespect the training, or you use it to bully people, and you're out for good. I understand, Digger said quickly. I won't let you down. 6 months later, Finn stood in front of a gym filled with almost 40 students from all grades and backgrounds. What had started as a small self-defense group had become something bigger, a community of students who supported each other, who had learned that real strength wasn't about pushing others down, but about lifting each other up. Digger had become one of the group's most dedicated members, using his athletic skills in training and helping new students who were being bullied. He would never be Finn's friend. Too much had happened for that. But he had earned respect through hard work and real change. As Finn looked at the group, he thought about the boy who had walked into Oakhaven Academy 8 months ago, trying to hide, putting up with being bullied because he thought he had no choice. That boy seemed like a stranger now. The practice ended with meditation, like always. In the quiet gym with 40 young people sitting peacefully, Finn thought about the journey that had brought him here. Master Lee had been right about so many things. Violence should be a last resort. True strength was about protecting, not hurting, and the best victories were often won without throwing a punch. But he had also learned things that went beyond his training. Sometimes standing up for yourself took more courage than putting up with abuse. Sometimes the right kind of fight could stop a lot of wrong ones. And sometimes the people who hurt us can become better if we give them a chance. After everyone left, Finn stayed to clean up the gym, something he had come to enjoy. In the quiet, surrounded by the things they used to build strength and confidence, he felt satisfied. His phone buzzed with a text from his mom, asking if he wanted to have anyone over for dinner. Finn smiled, thinking about the friends he had made, the community he had helped create, the students who weren't afraid anymore. He had found something at Oakhaven Academy that he didn't expect when he first walked through the doors as a scared teenager who just wanted to disappear. He had found home. And he had learned that sometimes you have to fight for the right to be yourself. But once you win that fight, your real strength comes from helping others win theirs too. Character count, 24,347.